Hi everyone, this is Mary Schaefer and this is my Prezi on formative assessment. So I just wanted to start off with my thoughts on formative assessment, which is the fact that it is one of the most essential pieces to being a teacher. You can't really be a teacher and know that you're doing your job without checking in every once in a while. So I put together a 4 example strategies that work, especially in my classroom being in the art room, but could really work in any classroom. Split them into teacher-oriented and student-oriented that are more examples directed towards those 2 groups of people. So starting off with teacher-oriented, these are more that the teacher is obviously going to use day to day, but not saying that students never could use these. They could easily be manipulated to benefit students more often, but it is directed towards the teacher, and the data collected is going to be more significant to the teacher. So the first one I have is checklists. This quite easily answers the question, what do I need to do to master this, which was found in the 7 strategies text, that it's not always about how can I better my grade, but what can I do to master this. And quite simply in the example you can see a teacher can write down very clear expectations and check them off as they're walking around the room. This also helps the teacher make sure that their expectations are clear. If they can't quickly jot it down in a checklist, they probably need to reevaluate what they want their students to get out of the lesson. Bonus, like I said, you can easily turn this into a student checklist. I do a 3rd grade project where they have to check off the elements of art and the principles of design as they use them in a project. So this benefits not only me, I can see that they're using them, but the student is turning this into their own personal learning guide. The next one was exit cards. Feedback can be given right on the exit cards, so you can collect them, see what a student has to say, and then pass them back, which can lead to marking them with symbols, which in the example that's going to be coming up in a second, you can see between the 2, one is a very thought out example, while the other one, you can right away see that the student's really not understanding the point of the lesson. So I used flags because I thought they were kind of cute, but you could choose whatever you want. Smiley face, unhappy face, the stairs, or the checks. Not only is this helping with grouping that you could use for the next day by piling them into 3, 4, 2 different groups or whatever, you could use those cards then to have the students question themselves, or how did they get that answer, or what could they do to work together to come up with a better answer, or if you're grouping them all different in certain groups, maybe the person with the green flag could help out the other 2 groupings. So the next sets I went with student-oriented, which are things that the students are going to be able to do themselves. Yes, the teacher can look at these and get feedback on how the students are progressing in the class or the lesson, but mostly this is student thought, starting that metacognition of how they're going about learning. And the first one is journals. So this is providing really useful information to teachers and students. As I said, they're able to reflect on what they learned, question themselves. Again, in the art room, it could be what if they used a different material, or what if they researched this one artifact a little bit more closely. So it's getting the students to start to think about what they learned in a lesson and how they could go farther with this. And then the teacher can obviously look into where maybe preconceptions may have come into play, or where errors might have started to occur. The next one is self-correcting, which I feel is very important because it gives a student a chance to fix their mistakes. I mean, we're talking about the learning process here. Until they are mastering it, it's still practice, it's still mistakes. So they can go back into a test, a quiz, even a journal, and they can go back in and say, oh, I did this really well, or wow, I was totally off with this writing, which I'm having the example, if they would reread a paper, they could mark up their own paper and see where they did things wrong, or where they could elaborate more on things. This could be used as a precursor to a lesson. It also could be post-lesson to kind of evaluate themselves. So let's go back over the 4 examples, because again, I feel like the 4 can be used in really any classroom, and they all are pretty important no matter the subject matter. So I had the 4, 2 that was student-oriented, 2 that were teacher-oriented. So why use these 4 formative assessments? Well, they're quite clear for the teacher. You can look back into any of these things. For me as a visual person, I like to do things where you're talking with your students, but having some hard proof to go back to and actually talk to with students is always great, because you won't forget anything and you can always file these things for later. The checklists. These are quick visuals. You can automatically pull them out and, oh yes, okay, little Johnny got that right away. Or, oh, at first he really missed the point on this, and now let's go back into it. Okay, he has mastered this, so I can go ahead and check this off now. Great for grading purposes after the fact. The exit cards, if you keep a steady flow of this, the students are going to know what to do. So you can just say, okay, we're doing exit cards today, and the kids automatically know what they need to do, whether it's a writing or if it's a drawing of a picture. And again, you can use them for grouping purposes the next day or later that week in the lesson, whatever. Journals, open-ended process. This allows students to get their thoughts on paper. So instead of a teacher standing in front of the class going through everything that needs to be gone through the day, you could easily put a prompt on the board, and the students can they could either talk about what they already knew or what they think they know about a new lesson. Self-correcting, again, very important. It's great for us, but it's even better for them. It's starting this metacognition process. They're starting to think about how they learned, where they got things wrong, why they got things wrong, and they can learn that for the future. So my bibliography was our 7 strategies book, and then I also found these 4 strategies in a 60 compiled list, which is the second one on the bibliography there. Thank you.